We learn Atvatabarese. This exclamation was a very puzzling phrase to us. Professor Starbottle said, "It appears to me, gentlemen, before we can make any use of our prisoner, we must first learn his language." Again the stranger smote his breast, exclaiming, "Plot hoy, Wailil are Atvatbar." "Well, of all the lingos I ever heard," said Flathootly, "this is the worst case yet. It beats Irish, which is the toughest language to learn under the sun. What language do you call that, sir?" Professor Goldrock, being a naturalist, was adept in language. He stated that our captive appeared to be either a soldier or courier or coastguard of his country, which was evidently indicated by the last word, Atvatbar. "Let us take for granted," said he, "that Plothoy is his name and Atvatbar his country. We have left the two words Wailil are. Now the pronunciation and grouping of the letters leads me to think that the words resemble the English language more nearly than any other tongue. The word Wailil has the same number of letters as soldier and courier, and I note that the fourth and last letters are identical in both courier and Wailil. On the supposition that both words are identical, we might compare them thus. C is W, O is A, U is Y, R is L, I is E, E is I or A, R is L. The word Wailil, or Wailail, means to us leal or strong, by the way, a very good name for a soldier. At this moment our mysterious friend yelled out, "Plot hoy, Wailil are Atvatbar, El Bilimbisirol." "Keep quiet, me boy," said Flathootly, "and we'll soon find out all about you." "Rather let him talk away," said the Professor, "and we'll find out who he is much quicker. You see, he's given us two new words this time. Blimbisirol. Now an idea strikes me. Let us transpose the biggest word thus. B is P, I is E, L is R, B is P, I is E, M is N, T is D, E is I, S is C, I is U, R is L, O is A, L is R. Here we have the word perpendicular. What does Bilbentisserol as perpendicular mean? It may mean that the interior planet is lit by a perpendicular sun, and that we're in a land of perpendicular light and shadow. See how the shadow of every man surrounds his boots. Now, granting Wailil means courier and Bilbisserol perpendicular, we have a clue to the language of Atvatbar. It seems to me to be a miraculous transposition of English language thus. A is O, B is P, C is S or K, D is T, E is I or A, F is F or V, G is J, H is OH, I is E, J is G, K is C, L is R, M is N is M, O is A, P is B, Q is V, R is L, S is C or S, T is D, U is IJ, V is QU, W, Y, C or S, X, Z, Y, U or I, ZX. According to this transposition, our friend means Plothoy, courier of Atvatbar in Bimbisserol. Let us see if we can so understand him. So saying, the Professor approached and said, "Ek whale moni Plothoy, is your name Plothoy? Wick sel ni moni ek Plothoy." "Yes, sir, my name is Plothoy," promptly replied the stranger. "Good," said the Professor. "That's glorious. We understand each other now." I congratulated the Professor on his brilliant discovery. It was magnificent. We could now converse with our prisoner on any subject we desired. We had the key in our hands that would unlock the wonders of Plutasia, or rather Bimbisserol, the interior world. Flathootly turned a dozen somersaults in the air to express his delight. The sailors spun upon the deck and threw each other into the air like jugglers playing with balls, in pure excitement. "Ek Atvatbar dofi moni ar whale semantle." "Is Atvatbar the name of your country?" inquired the Professor of Plothoy. "E ono o walail ar fek nodici kemj algmegari buhulkar at Atvatbar." "I am a Wailil of His Majesty King Algmari, Buhulmakar of Atvatbar," said Plothoy. Atvatbar, then, was a kingdom. We should go there certainly and see King Bulmakar and his people. But where was this mysterious country? "Yoholi ek Atvatbar?" we asked of Plothoy. "Doholi," he replied, pointing to a continent in the southwest. The southwest in the interior world, it should be stated, corresponds to the southeast on the outer earth. Atvatbar, then, lay under the Atlantic Ocean. "Yohod ek dohi moni ar dohi mioloid gliod sedi?" "What is the name of the nearest great city?" we asked. "Kioram," replied Plothoy. De holi ed ek feki ochmidit nerik ti kahad doct. There it is, 500 miles due southeast. We looked in the direction indicated with our glasses and plainly saw the white marble buildings of a large city not 3 degrees above the plane of our position. Further off, in the haze of distance, a mighty continent unrolled its landscapes until it was merged in the brightness of the sunlight above us. All this time Plothoy's companion circumnavigated the ship on his swift wings. We inquired his name. Leckholt, said Plothoy. Omt ochi ork ek o Whaleal. He is also a Whaleal. What is the name of the sun above us? We inquired. Swang, said Plothoy. Good. We would sail directly to Kioram, the principal port of Atvatabar. I assured Plothoy that as long as he was detained by us, he would receive the greatest consideration at our hands. We would do him no injury, but on the contrary amply reward him for his services. He could understand that, being strangers in an unknown world, it was absolutely necessary for us to have a pilot or guide, not merely to advise on how to direct the ship, but to inform us regarding the laws, manners and customs of the people we proposed visiting, that we might accommodate ourselves to such novel experiences as we were certain to undergo. We told him that we'd come to Bumbussorol as pioneers of the outer planet, as heralds of the intercourse that would undoubtedly take place between 2 worlds separated for ages until now. We assured Plothoy how indebted we were to him for the information he'd already given, and his great importance to us in a voyage that would affect the interests of thousands of millions of men ought to reconcile him to his brief captivity. We could not afford to lose him, and therefore asked him to remain with us for the remainder of the voyage, and on reaching Kioram we would give him his liberty. These words, with the treatment he was receiving, completely reconciled Plothoy, who called Leckholt to come down on deck beside him. His companion obeyed, and presently the 2 strangers sat on the rail of the vessel engaged in earnest conversation. Presently Plothoy said that his companion Leckholt would go forward in advance of the ship to inform the king of our coming, that due preparations be made for our reception. This was an admirable suggestion, and accordingly we dispatched Leckholt with a message of profound respect for King Aldmeni Bulmakar, saying that Commander of the Polar King, with his officers and retinue, would do themselves the honour of visiting his Majesty and people as soon as the Polar King would reach Atvatabar. Poising himself for a moment on his wings, Leckholt saluted us with his sword and immediately swept away in the direction of Atvatabar. End of chapter 11.